Yeah.
And then you'll know when I click it off too. Okay. So you all were in the 102, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Oh, no, not me.
okay. Um, but you've been on you haven't been on the Zoom classes before. You've been on the other one, right?
On the special classes that you had, like
Yeah.
1 session each, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And so you kind of know the drill where if I'm going to mute you guys out when we play through stuff. If you have any questions on anything, just break in. It doesn't bother me a bit. And if you're like me and you wait to ask the question 3 minutes, oh, I'll wait till he's done. Don't do, just kind of raise a hand or something, because if you're like me, you're going to forget what the question is. Okay. Um, I do want to do, I have a few things I need to do. Also, so Jenny won't be able to do this, but I want to go back into Sailor's Hornpipe, which was the last one we did in the last class. And so Jenny, just kind of just think how great it is, and listening to us play it. But that was the last one we did. Whatever the last song of this session is, when we move on to the next one, the first class will review this. All right. So kind of get that ready. But I just want to do a quick right and left hand review, and then we'll mute out and play a little bit. I've got my trusty Collings with me today. This is the guitar du jour. And let's talk about left hand first, because one of the keys is to have a real fluid left hand, so that you're not so you're not you don't want to grip it like a baseball bat. What I do is I'm going to take my thumb. My thumb print is actually right behind right there. Okay. And so I'm on the top side of the curve, and my hand is basically just hanging off the back. Now, if I'm doing leads, if I'm doing chords, it's going to come up a little tighter. But for the leads, I want to have lots of air underneath there, and I want to be able to pivot off that thumb. And that way I don't have to, I don't have to stretch as far for things. I can pivot up to it. Okay. So I think that's going to be one of your most important things. Rich, I'll go ahead and mute you out so you can noodle and doodle while we're doing this. The only other thing is the setup of the thumb, where your thumb actually goes. If we're playing in the key of G, we play in second position, right? So that your first finger hits all the second frets, second finger hits the third finger hits fourth, little finger hits the fifth. And I need to position my thumb so that my fingers can reach as far up in the fret as possible. So for example, if you go ahead and hold down your second and third fret on the first string, and you've got your fingers pushed up, you can see mine look like I'm actually on the fret, but I'm not. I'm right before it. And then I'm going to play with my thumb a little. I'm going to leave that down. I got these two down. I can add one more if I wanted to. All right. And my thumb is free right now. I'm going to have it go straight up, wherever straight up is, and then push in the back of the neck. And that's where my thumb has to place for me to play comfortably in G. With my G chords, G, C, and D, I can get them all without having to move my thumb. If you look at like a C chord, does that make sense? It's kind of like if you ever tried to play the fiddle, you can get your intervals down perfect. Like for example, if you're playing in G on the first string, it's the same thing. You have open E, and then you would play where you assume the second fret is, and then the third fret, and then your little finger. That would be your third finger on fiddle, and then your little finger would hit this B. But and you could do that dead on perfect. But if your thumb's back a little bit, it's going to drag your hand back, and then you're out of tune the whole time. And that's going to be why, because you didn't set your thumb up. So we want to, that's basically the only thing there. If you held the F chord, for example, you can see your thumb's going to be way back farther, more than likely. And then it's going to be in the same place for C. and for E. But when I go to G, it moves up. Okay. So kind of be aware of that. That's a really, I want to say an unspoken technique, because I don't know that, I've ever really dwelled on it or really brought it up with students. But it says right here, I have to go over right and left hand. So it's in my playbook. I got to do it. Questions, comments? All right. On the right hand, we've done this before. I'm going to hold the pick with my thumb and first finger. I don't need to have two fingers on it because that's going to create a wobble. Right. I've got the side of my first finger holding it, and then my thumb goes over the top. It kind of makes an X the way I hold it. And then I also have about a 1/2 inch of pick sticking out. Okay. I have air right here. You can see that there's air there. I don't have a fist. These two fingers hang out loose. And then my little finger is going to glide along the top as I'm playing my leads. Now, I never hold the top when I'm playing rhythm. And if I'm doing rhythm, for example, see, it's totally free. But it's not until I go like, once I hit any of those eighth notes, that little finger goes down, and then it'll come right off for the strum. Okay. All right. And that's kind of it. I don't know. Well, let's not leave anything out. Go ahead and set your pick flat on the first string. Okay. Now, you've got the side of your first finger holding the pick. You got your thumb over the top. That gives you a lot of skin surface area on the pick. It should not rotate in your hand. All right. These two fingers are hanging out, little fingers down and posted. You're flat on the first string. What this is a snapshot of you just about to hit that first string. And if you snap the chalk line, it would be a straight line from this pick to the point of your elbow. That's just a straight line. So my wrist is not bent this way or that way. It's just a straight line. I'm right dead center in the middle of my swing. Okay. And the swing is going to come from my wrist. So you can see my forearm, it's moving a little bit. It's the tail wagging the dog, but it's mostly wrist. As a matter of fact, I was working with someone the other day. Well, I just did this camp in Alaska. So I was working with them up there, and I said, what I used to do would be to put a thread bobbin under my arm here and against the top. I can use this battery. It's about the same, except I'm not going to move too much, but I would hold that there. I don't want to do too much because I'll scratch the top, but you see, I've got it still under there, right? And it does not have to fall out. See right there, I have to move. I heard it go click, click, click. I have to move farther this way, which means my elbow is going to get me to the string I want to be at. A bobbin would be much better. I'm just going to let it go. But you see my point. That's what I used to do. I would practice with that because I saw that I was playing from my elbow. I don't want to play from my elbow. I want to play from my wrist. So once my elbow gets me to the string I want to be at, first string, if I'm staying on the first string, I don't have to move my whole arm. I'm not going to move my elbow. Okay. And it's not until, say I'm doing a run that goes from the high to the low. You can see my arms just traveling up while this machine is just working its part. Okay. Questions on that? Okay. Now we were flat on the first string. Let's go ahead and just finish that out. What I'm going to do is pull my index finger just slightly back towards my wrist. It's going to bend my thumb. It's also going to take the bottom right side of the pick and lift it off the string. Okay, so my bottom left is making contact on the down, and my top right is making contact on the up. Okay. And my thumb is bent ever so slightly. You don't want to bend it, so far. You just want to relax that thumb a little bit so there's a little bend in it, which means when I'm holding the pick, I cannot put my thumb knuckle over the pick. It has to be back, and this has to be free to move. And what's going to happen there is that's going to actually act as a shock absorber. And when you want to pound a note out, because you play from here. So when you want to pound a note out, you'll see that thumb dip down. And it's only when you get a piece down really well that you can actually play the emotion of the song that you'll start to do that in it. But if I was doing like Devil's Dream, I think we did that in the last group, didn't we not? I don't remember. Was that one of our famous hits? I can go back and look. I just don't remember. Oh, Arkansas Traveler, Sailor's Hornpipe. Well, even in Sailor's Hornpipe, when we're doing that second line run, we can go ahead and like accent the 1 and the 3 beat. And 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. And that's that thumb driving through there just a little farther. You can accent the 2 and the 4. So you want to try to add those accents in and watch that thumb do its work. Okay. All right. Questions, comments? Anything there? Okay. Let's go ahead and give Jenny a little mini concert right here, and we'll hit that Sailor's Hornpipe. Okay. All right. I'm going to get it out. Now, it's not like I really have to read it, but. And we'll go, and we're at, well, we started a little early, but we're somewhere around 15 minutes in, somewhere around there. Okay, so let's just start it like somewhere in here. Is that gonna be okay? You good there? All right. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Let's go on back, pick it up a little bit. Try to accent right in there on the 1 and the 3 on that second line. One and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3. we sounded just like Doc and Merle, you know. Okay, that would be fun to play along with. And you know, I remember when I was teaching privates, I worked at this place called Tommy Covington's, and Tommy, he was an old guy. He was probably at that time about 85, and he was the one that taught Chet how to do false harmonics. And that false harmonics is like when you're doing that kind of thing. The harmonic works at the 12th fret, but a false harmonics, when you hold down a fret and you count that many frets past 12. So right here, I'm at 3, so I'd be at 15 up here. See, that's false. So anyway, he showed Chet how to do all that stuff. And I remember I was playing harmony with a student one time, and Tommy opened the door, said, "That's pretty good. If they can hang with you and you're distracting them with that harmony part, they're doing pretty good." And so if you guys hung in there, you're doing really good. But go ahead and practice it along with the YouTube. All right. Were there any questions on the lead on that part? Try this. You know, on the second part, go ahead and stop right there on the 5/5s. Okay. What's really cool, the next chord is A. And if I took these 5s and dragged it backwards, I'm going right down to A. Can you see that? From C to A. Right? So what I want to do is imply that, but not go all the way because I don't have the time for it. So I did it this way, and I recorded it this way. It's traveling back. It's assumed it's going to drop down one more, but then you're going to go to here. So it's... I just think it's a cool move. You don't do it every time, but it's a cool move because it implies the chord change. So it's when you get to the 5s, it's a second string, and then I'm going to hit both of them. Second string, then both of them, and then bring it back one, bring it back one more. Okay? You can bring it back to the A if you want to. And do something different, you know. Okay, but fool around with it and see what you like to come up with. Okay. All right, questions, comments? Okay, Jenny, we're now current. All right, and we appreciate your patience on that. And unless they have questions on it next week, we probably won't go back there. All right, so now we don't have a lot to work on here. We have this Blackberry Blossom, which we're going to try to hit. Hopefully you've gone through it a little bit. Come on, open up here. I've got these jumping G licks that I want to hit. So let's take a look at that. And we'll kind of talk through it a little bit, and then I'm going to give you a couple minutes here just to kind of do it on your own. Okay, what this is for is when we play in the key of G, we play down here at the nut. We want to have as much open string ring as we can, and that gives it the authentic flat picking sound. That's why when I came up here and did this, I don't think that sounds like flat picking, right? It sounds better with the open string, the twang of the open string. So what I do is, if I'm going to play down the neck, I go down for just the high note that I'm hearing that I want to replicate. I don't even know that I'm necessarily going to do it, but I hear a musical line in my head that takes me up to high notes. All right, so now let's take a look at this. We're going to we're in the key of G, and I think we talked about this a little last time in the last class, and Jenny, you weren't there, about taking your short chords and moving them down the neck. You guys remember that? Yeah, okay, Gary does. What we're talking about here is, let's take a look at Blackberry Blossom, because that's what we have. Okay. And what I want to try to do here is play the chords to Blackberry Blossom, not going boom chuck, but just strum, 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 4 strums a measure. Okay. But I'm going to cut off the 2nd fret and the 1st fret. So I've got to play a G chord that does not use the 2nd fret. If you're not familiar with this, so Jenny, you may want to write this down. The chords we're going to use, we use an F shape, and we're only talking about the first 4 strings at the most. It could be 3 strings, but we'll use an F to move around. F, F sharp, G, G sharp, A sharp, B, right? It moves around. We'll take a D chord and move it around. D, D sharp, E, here's an E chord. F, D, D sharp, E. So D, so F and D, and we'll call it A in parentheses B flat, and we'll call it A in parentheses, or it would be G, or the long A. Okay, so to start to get used to this, if I was going to play the chords of Blackberry Blossom, and I'm trying this technique out, which you guys need to try. The reason we do this is because we're going to find where our chords lead us to up and down the neck, and where our chords lead us to, so do our solos. Okay, so if I was going to take just the first line to this, and we're going to only use an F shape. Okay, so if we take an F, move it to the 3rd fret, that's a G. If it was me, I would write, we know that the whole line is going to be Fs. Okay, so I don't have to write F3. I could just write a 3 above that G there, right? Because that's where my F is going to go to. These are all going to be Fs on this line. Okay, what fret, and you can hold up fingers, what fret is the D going to be at in an F shape? I got 10. Yeah, we're right there. So we check it out. G, G sharp, A sharp, B, C, C sharp, D. Yep, 10. Okay. Okay, so then where is C in an F shape? So I would write over the D, write a 10. And the reason you write is you don't want to have to go figure it out every time you're going to do this. Okay, over the C, what would you write? Where's the C at? Do we got an 8 there? 8, okay. C is at 8. Okay, then G is back at 3. Then C is at 8. G is at 3. I don't need to hold an A7. I'm just going to hold an A. Okay, so where's the A at? 5, right? Okay, and then D. Okay, so the first line in the way that I'm talking about doing this is just this way. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, does that make sense? And again, the reason I want to know where a C chord up the neck is if I have to jump to a C to do something, I have to know where C is. I went to 8. I didn't go to 7. I didn't go to 9 because 8 is where C is. Okay. If I needed to go to do an A run, I have to know where the A chords are. So A is here. 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 Those are all my A spots. So if I'm doing a solo in the key of A, I'm going to jump between those spots. And that's why I need to know where my chords are. Okay. So that would be an easy way to get through this. We're only talking about the first two lines, because the second line now, I mean, the third line, which is the second part with the E minor, the way you do those, you have to think of all the minor chords you know back here. Okay, D minor's one. So if I took D minor and moved it to make an E minor, right, Cody, it'd be up on the third fret. D, D sharp, E minor. So if I'm going to play the chords for that part, I can go E minor, 4 strums a measure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, to a B. Now we've been using the F shape, F, F sharp, G, G sharp, A. It's a G, G sharp, A sharp, B. Right, so B is going to be at the 7th fret in an F shape. Okay, and then back to E minor. Then C, G, G, back to G. Okay. Okay, any questions on that? So now, if you understand the point of that, what we just did, and remember, on the minors, you have to, you've got a D minor shape, an A minor shape, F minor shape, which is really an E, another E minor shape. But those are the only ones you got. You got a D minor. So if I'm up here, I got a D minor. I got a B minor shape. Here's B minor. And I've got the F minor shape. F minor. And that'll move around. So I could, my next one from here, from E minor, is going to, well, I have to figure it out. If I was going to hold it in this F minor shape, here's G, G sharp, A sharp, B, C, C sharp, D, D sharp, E minor's way up here. Probably ain't going to happen. So my only other one that I've got is the B minor. B, C, C sharp, D, D sharp, E. And that would work. Okay. All right. What we and what I'm deciding on, trying to decide on, is do we want to take this any further right now? And I want to really explain it in full, and then you guys can work on it. What we did right there was we used an F shape all the way up and down. You could try doing it with a D shape all the way up and down. Right? Only because I know where they are. G is here. G, G sharp, A sharp, B. C is here in a D shape. Okay. So you could try that all the way through. The other ones I mentioned was the A that looks like a B flat, and that's this one. All right, A is here. Move it up one, you have A sharp, B flat. You can do it this way and here, but I only need the first 3 strings. I just need to find where my places are. So there's my B flat shape A. Does that make sense? Okay, and then the long A is the other one that we use, and it actually looks like a G, right? But there's a long A. So here's B flat, B, C, C sharp, D. So here's using those 4 shapes, F, D, and all the derivatives of F, F minor, F7, D, D minor, D7, the B flat minor, B flat minor. I don't need to do the 7th on that. And then the long A, I can't really make this one minor this way, but I can make it a 7th. Okay. All right. That being said, you could try the first line with all those chords. And actually what you'll do is you'll do it on every song that you have. You know, everything you've got in print that has chords over it, you're doing this to it. And in about a month, you're going to know the whole neck of where your chord spots are and where you're going to be playing your leads later. That is really cool because it's not hard to do. Do little steps. All right. So what I usually have people do, you see what I mean with the 4 chords. What I usually have people do is, okay, I'm going to play Blackberry Blossom. I'm going to cut off the 2nd fret back. So that means I'm going to play my chords, but I want to play them as close to the 2nd fret as possible, not the jumping all the way up and down. So I have to cycle through my chord shapes that I mentioned to see which ones are going to be closer. So G is here. Then it goes to D. Where's my closest D? Yeah, Cody's got it because he plays Garth Brooks stuff. Right? Here's your D. B flat. So I have to actually, to figure it, you have to go back to these chords that I mentioned. B flat, B, C, C sharp, D. Okay, that would be my closest one. Okay, so that gets my first 2. Now I'm going to get you on this one, Cody. Where's your closest C chord to the 2nd fret? True. I wasn't going to get you on this one. I'll get you on the next one. Right? So it's going to be right there. And then G, and then C, and then G. The A, I can't use this one, so I have to use this one. And then D. Okay? So I'm keeping all my chords really close together now. All right, questions on that at all? Okay, here's where it gets tricky. Then after about 2 weeks of doing that, playing all the songs I know with chords as close to the 2nd fret as I can get them, I'm going to cut off the 3rd fret now. Okay, so I have to do chords that are closest to the 3rd. I can't use this one anymore. So I can't, and I'm not using bars anyway. My first G is here. Where's my C that's closest to the 3rd fret without using it? I think you got that one there, Cody. You on this one? I think that, yeah, you got the long A, right, Cody? Right. So it's where's my, and then the D was right here. C is right there. Most people go to this one for the closest one down there, and that's where I thought I was going to get you, but I did not. Good job. Okay, so basically you cycle through all the chords and find the ones that are closest to down here. After a little bit more time, when you get bored of that, you cut off the 3rd fret, move it to the 4th or 5th fret. Okay, you get rid of the 5th fret, which means I can't use this anymore, and I can't use this anymore. I have to go to the next set of chords. All right, so anyway, so you cycle through your chords. Now, if this is totally over the top, pick one chord shape, and like we did with the F, and figure it up and down the neck. Okay, with all the songs you know, and most songs don't have this many chords anyway. There's a well-beaten path down this old mountainside where I wandered when I was 3-chord songs, most of them, every one of them. Okay, so and there's no fancy rhythm. We're just strumming out the chords, and I'm doing it with a strum vamp. All right, we have to do that to learn where we're going to be playing out of. So now, before I go on, any questions there? So let me go ahead and hit this then, this jumping G licks. What we're actually doing is we play a lot down here, but when we want to go higher, I can go as high as this A note. Right? I can go as high as that A right here and stay in position. But if I want to do anything higher than that, then I have to go to the next G area. And the next G area, I got this one, and then it's this one. So what we're doing is we're jumping from the nut using the open first string to get down to the 7th, 8th fret position. So when you come down on that first line of the jumping licks, end of the first measure, you'll see there's an 8 there. That's your second finger hitting the 8 on the second string. Your little finger on the 10, first finger on the 7, little finger on the 10, and this is just a lick. It's not a scale. So it sounds like this. Ends on that B, but really it's so you can put it into a loop. And what you're trying to do is get used to jumping to this G spot up here, okay? Using the open string. And the practice for it is really just this. I started on the third note of the first line. Open 1, 3, open 8. I have to get my arm used to pivoting up, and how far does it go without me having to look at it? Okay, so that's really the practice until you get it smooth. There's a song, Katie Hill. Let's see. But you have to get used to just right where it goes to, okay? And it's really just it's a feel. It's a feel in this section of your arm. That's the part that has to contract and rotate. So kind of get used to the feel there. All right, let's hit this first line. Okay. And we'll just do it kind of slow, somewhere in here. And they're eighth notes, so you're going to alternate on everything. So somewhere in here. Okay. Here we go. Good luck. 3 and 4, slow. 1 and 2 and 3. Jump up. Jump back. When you come back, it does not matter what finger hits that 3. The D note, it doesn't matter. Okay, and then you're going to start it on over again. So here we go. 3 and 4 and. Again. One more, last time. Okay. And right there. All right, any questions on that? On that one? Over and over and over and over again, okay? But you're jumping to G is really what's happening. Now, on the next line, it's a G lick that resolves to a D chord. And the D chord is going to be the 10 at the end of the line. So it sounds like this. You can hear it turn around. What it's doing is going back to this, to my D. A sharp, B, C, C sharp, D. That 10 right there. It's not really going to here yet. Okay, but it's there. Okay, go ahead and just run that one by yourself. Second line. Okay, any questions on that? And like I said, it's just a G lick that goes to D. The next one is a G lick that goes to D, resolving back to G. It resolves with the infamous Mickey Mouse lick. M-O-U-S-E. as I shall now demonstrate. Okay, M-O-U-S-E. So it's a famous Mickey Mouse lick. Okay, when you do jump up here, make sure you're just using fingertips. Don't put a bar down. Okay, you may be tempted to do that. Don't do that. You're using fingertips to walk across this, walk like a butterfly, sting like a bee. Okay. All right, so work those licks out. Any questions on those? Yes, sir.
On that G lick resolving to D, you're actually ending up on an A note there, aren't you?
No, A is the 10th fret. We're talking. We're on the second. The you're talking about the second line.
Yeah, the second, it's G lick number 1 resolving to D.
Yeah, it is on an A note. Doesn't mean it's an A chord though. It's a note that's in the D chord.
Okay, right.
Yeah, and that's why. Here you go. Right there, I'm playing that D, or it could have been this D.
Got it.
Okay, it would not have been the A, which would sound like this. See, that would be harsh. You know what I mean? That's harsh, but this is not. See what I mean? So it is using the A note, but it's in the D chord.
Okay, thank you.
Good one. Good one. I thought you were going to get me on that one, Gary.
I know, I've never done that.
but you could. You could. Okay. Okay. So there's all your jumpers right there. Let me play through this Blackberry Blossom, and then we'll let you get started on this. This is the high break, the Blackberry Blossom. It takes you from the high G down to the low G area, and you want to use the fingerings that are marked. So you'll see that, like when I hit the third measure C, even though it's a C chord, I'm still playing G stuff. So I'm in second position there. I'm using my first finger on the 2 and third finger on the 4, because that's what we do in G. Unless it was a predominantly strong C chord run that I needed, then I would have had to been back here. But it's not. It's just a C chord in the background. You know, originally this song didn't have half these chords in it. Originally the song was this. So it was just all G originally. And if you play it that way, it sounds really old-timey. You can try it against this solo, because this is real close to the original melody. The original one was this. And he played it on the fiddle this way and just went, that's why I'm doing it this way. Just play along with me there, but just play a G chord over the rhythm. G, 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 D, G, G. Okay, right at the end. 1, 2. Old time. On the second part, it was E major, where the E minors are, and then it went to a G where the B7 is. Okay, let me play the original melody. Bear with it because it sounds really off. E chord, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. And then it would go through a C right here. G. sounds really off. It was written by Fiddlin' Arthur Smith, 1928. And the guy that showed me that, I said, that sounds awful. And he said, Arthur Smith knew what he was doing. And he said he wanted to write something that was ahead of his time and sound really odd. But if you listen to it, this part is a little odd. Here's where we go to B7. But the melody notes are this. It's G stuff. It's not B stuff. B stuff would have been this. That would have been B stuff using that 7th fret, but it used the 8th fret right there. Originally, it was a G chord. It's just kind of cool to know the background on it. Okay, that being said, let me go ahead and run this so you can hear how we're going to go through this. 1, 2, 45 minutes in. 1, 2, 3, 4. John? Nice break, Blackberry Blossom. Takes you up and down the neck. It is still straight. It's straight Blackberry Blossom. Okay, now the second part is a bear. I'll tell you that now. Let's see. The part that's the bear is the first 2 measures of the 3rd line. Where you, I'm starting with my 2nd finger. Let's see. Or 1st finger. And then here's a series of the pull-offs. It's a pull-off starting on an upswing, and then another up on the next 3, and then another up on this next pull-off. Okay, so it's a 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Okay, I guess the best way to practice that is the last 2 notes of the 1st measure's 3rd line. 2, 3. Let's see. Yeah, that would be where I'd pick it up from if I want to put it into a loop. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 2, 3, 4, and. Okay, it's a real slinky E minor lick. Pretty slick. All right, let me go ahead and play through the second part. 1st finger starts at 3, 4. Listen how long that 2 stays down on the 4th string. One more time. 3, 4. Jump. Back, leave it there. my point was on the twos there, on that E note on the fourth string, leave it down as long as possible. So you really get a nice E minor sounding ring going on there. Okay. All right. Any questions on that you see? We okay there? Questions, comments, answer statements. Okay, well, let's go ahead and hold this here. There's really was a lot to do. I want you to start finding your chord shapes up and down the neck. So if you're just starting out at that and it's overwhelming, pick one chord and find out where it is as you move it up sharps and flats. Okay, and play all the songs you know. Then when you get a really good grip on that, change to another chord shape. Okay, otherwise do the thing where we cut off the second fret and get started only chords from the third fret closest to the third fret. It's going to be within 5 frets, because that's eventually what you'll go to. Then you got your jumping licks to do. Okay, and then you've got this Blackberry to get memorized, and we're going to race on it next week. All right. Okay, that's not too bad. All right, we'll hold it here then. Let me get my recording to talk to me again.